Hi, this is actually going to be a bands for the berm workout that I actually did today for Zoom. So if you ever want to work out with me live, please reach out to me and I'll get you the link to do Zoom. So I'm going to be using the green handy bands. I'm about 5'6", so I tend to use this adjustment where I take the length of the band and have it come to the midpoint of the handle. And then I always pull that excess back and get it a little bit underneath the rivet, and that way it's nice and neat put away. So if you're shorter than I, you might want to explore with coming all the way to the far end of the handle. And if you're taller than I, perhaps it's just to the near end of the handle. If you've got the orange handy bands, just reach out. I think I'm going to put it in the comments, like how to adjust your handy bands. So you just want to make sure that they feel like you get good resistance, but it's not straining for you. So let's go ahead and head on over to the mat. And so the other thing is here is that we're going to use the loop, the smaller one, the one that's furthest away, and we're going to put that around the arch of our foot. If you use the larger loop, it's going to change the length tension of the handy bands. So we're just going to go ahead and put those smaller loops around the arches of our feet. They're designed to stay put as you exercise. And then we're just going to lie down here, and I'm just going to pull those leggings up a little bit. And we're going to start off with a little pelvic rock to warm up. So what I'd like you to do is posterior tilt. The pubic bone comes towards you. You feel how your back flattens. And then go to anterior tilt. Send the pubic bone between your legs and feel how the back arches. And then go back and forth from posterior tilt to anterior tilt. As you do that, start to focus your mind on how your back feels as it transitions from the arch of the anterior tilt to the flexion or the pressing into the mat with the posterior tilt. And if it's feeling like it's loosening up your back, then just go back and forth and mobilize that low back. If it's not feeling good, then make that range of motion a little bit smaller. And so now let's continue with our warm-up. Find yourself in neutral, so that's where the pelvis is level, pubic bone level also. And then from there, exhale, draw the belly button into the spine. Feel how your back presses down into the mat. There's a posterior tilt of the pelvis, and then release back to the neutral. There's a small arch in your spine. Exhale, draw belly button to spine, all the way down to your mat, posterior tilt of the pelvis, but it's happening because of core connection. So our lesson today will be about working more in flat back, and then also how it translates into a little bit of round back, which is a position that we use in Pilates. Inhale, release to the neutral. Exhale, go ahead and find that flat back. Now keep it. Let's go ahead and grab onto the handles of the handy bands, and then we're going to just place the bent elbows out to the sides. Our fists are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. I'm going to be in my flat back, and then from here, I want you to inhale, roll those arms back as far as you can. Pause, gazes up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you come back to your start position. So we inhale, expand those ribs three-dimensionally, and try to press those arms back as far as you can, finding some openness in the chest, and also spinning the humeruses in the shoulder socket, getting some work for the rotator cuff. Well, we're really trying to focus on just, increasing some range of motion here, opening up chest. Very good. And awesome. I'm going to scooch down a little bit. So from here, once we have our arms back, I'd like you to try to raise those arms over your head, keeping your elbows softly bent, trying to keep the backs of your hands to the ground, and then come back to where your fists are up towards the ceiling. Roll back, and then reach those arms up, finding some stretch overhead, and then come back to your start position. Now, on this one, it's going to be slightly different. We roll back, you reach those arms up overhead, try to find that stretch, and then we're going to pull those arms all the way down, feeling like you're trying to press press the elbows into the rib cage, opening up chest, and then reach those arms up. So we're just warming up, finding some openness in the chest, especially as the elbows try to come in towards the waistline. Try to keep those hands back, and then reach overhead for some stretch, and then press it into the waistline. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with our work here. So what I'd like you to do is lay the left handy band down. Hold on to the handle with both arms here. We're going to stretch that right leg up towards the ceiling. We're in a flat back, and then from here, exhale, use the core and try to curl up, really pulling navel into the spine, and then lowering down. Find that nice stretch of hamstring. Exhale, navel to spine, lower that leg, and inhale, return. So option to just lower that leg as low as you can and keeping the head down. That's for if you have neck pain or osteoporosis. Okay, but if you're doing okay, let's go ahead and curl. Press that leg low, navel to spine. Now if you want more challenge, as the leg goes down, lift the left leg. Find the staggered position, squeezing inner thighs and low tummy. And then exhale, lifting, drag those core muscles in, and return to the stretch. And again, stagger the legs so you can squeeze the inner thighs and the low tummy and return. Find your length of hamstring. So 2 phases to the exercise, the work phase and the stretch phase. Try to use both. And nice. So on this one, we're going to stay back. Let's work that the back and flat back, and then start the circle of that leg. So we could do this exercise in neutral, but today we're working more in flat back. So navel draws in, especially as the leg moves away from the core. Here's our stretching, and reach the stirrup of the handy bands and circle around. And if this is too much, having your arms up overhead, just simply grab onto the elastic of the handy band and continue with those leg circles. Now remember, the objective is to keep your torso stable. So feel like you're balancing a cup of water on your low tummy. Now here, pause and change your direction. Yes. So we're trying to stay stable through the midsection, reaching long through that leg, reaching those arms overhead as you press it around. Really trying to find that nice work through those abdominals, working navel to spine as the leg reaches away from you, and finding that good solid reach. Nice work, finding length and finding core work. As the leg moves away from core, that's when you really engage through the core. Very, very good. Nice. And then from here, let's go ahead and lay that right handy band down and then grab onto the other one. So we're in that flat back. Lower that leg low. Navel to spine, reaching those arms back. Remembering it is totally okay to keep that head down and not lifting it. But if it works for you, exhale, we curl, navel to spine. Inhale as we return. See if you can try to get that leg low and then back up. Awesome. And exhale. And very good. And curl. Really deep flat back, leg to a low hover over the mat. Remember, we can make it harder by lifting the bottom leg to match in the staggered position and then reach overhead. And then go ahead and pull down and in, and good. And curl. Remember, you can always go back to the previous exercise if this one feels too hard by lifting that bottom leg up. Never forcing an exercise, but instead listening to your body and giving your body what it needs. And 2 more. Squeeze inner thigh, squeeze low tummy, and come back. And then again, squeeze and squeeze, and nicely done. So now we're going to go into the leg circle. So navel in towards the spine. Really keep those abs drawn in as the leg circles away from core, and then it circles towards you. And staying rock steady as you do that circling of the leg. Single leg circle is about abdominal connection as the leg circumducts, which is the fancy way of saying the circling action. But remember, you're trying to stay as stable as possible through your midsection. Very, very good. And now let's pause and really feel the core work as you reach the leg away. Keeping in mind, you can always grab onto the elastic portion of the band and continue with that circling action. If your arms are getting tired by being up overhead, or maybe even that you're losing circulation. Yes, and awesome. Let's go ahead and have just 2 more. And now last one. All right, and so then we're going to gather up both of the handy bands. So you can hold with your arms stretched out overhead. I tend to like to stack the 2 handles on top of one another, and then I hold on the side portion of the handy bands. So from here, we got those arms reaching, and then we're going to start to walk past one another, loading the bands, and try to get to that low hover, and now start to walk back up. So as we come back up, that's the ease and the stretch of the exercise. Then we start to engage the resistance, and then we start to curl, using that resistance to pull in our core more, and then we start to walk back up to our stretch and the ease, and then we start to lower the resistance, start to curl, and come up, shoulders away from your ears, and then start to walk it back up. As always, you can do this exercise keeping your head down. So I'm looking down my nose towards my toes, and then I start to come back up. So keep that in mind if you got neck pain or osteoporosis. So we're mimicking a Cadillac exercise here. Nice, get down low. That's the hardest part of the exercise, and now we're starting to move out of it. Find that stretch. Good, and then let's go ahead, load that resistance, navel to the spine, really engage core right here, and still engaged, but it's starting to get easier because the weight of the legs is no longer pulling on the core. Let's go ahead and just have one more here. Get down nice and low, and then start to come back up. Excellent, now we're going to go into leg circle with curl, deep core engagement, circle, and come back down. Navel to the spine, flat back, legs low, open and circle around 2. And we get low. Circle and around 3. Pull that belly button in and circle around 4. And we get down low. And circle is 5. And press. That's it. That is 6. Totally okay to keep that head down if that's necessary. Yeah, and totally okay to hold onto the elastics and circle that way. You could even add the curl if you want. That works. Or you could keep the head down. Pick the right exercise for you. And then from here, let's reverse that. So open. Draw that navel in. Scoop low. Come up for your stretch. Open. Scoop and lift. Excellent. Keep in mind all those modifications. You pick the exercise that works for you. But right here, let's get that core, navel to spine. Let's get that low hover and that sense of reach through both handy bands. Excellent work. Nice. And let's just have 2 and 1. Now hold that position and start rocking. Reach those legs low, navel to spine. Keep tension in those handy bands. So reach those arms away from those legs. Real big core. So you're keeping a nice C shape. And 1 more after this one. We come all the way up and we're up. All right, so from there, what we're going to do is doing saw. So what I want you to do is reach the right pinky finger towards the right pinky toe and really reach through the handle on the left side. Abs are in. Come up, pinky finger to pinky toe, palm is up, and then really reaching from the shoulder through the straight elbow and out through your fingertips. To engage lightly into the triceps and also find that sense of length from shoulder through elbow and out through fingertips. And reach. So I'm also listening to my knee. Abs are in, away from my thigh, and 1 more time to each side. So I might not have mentioned, but my legs are just a hair wider than my mat, and find that sense of length. So from here, we're going to take those handy bands, cross them over, bring the legs close together. If this position bothers your back, then simply just bend your knees. Arms are out to the side, little pulses back. Shoulders are down, away from your ears. Feel the work in the deltoid and also in the mid back. So if you need to make it harder, you would have those legs further away from one another. Still the option to bend the knees if you need to. That's it, shoulders down. Work your posture, nice and upright. Knees could be straight if that works for your body. And let's just have 2 and 1. Wow, that was a good little burner there. So let's go ahead and work some side hip work. So I want you to lie down on your side. How about if we have the left leg high? So take your time to find that position. Bottom leg will be straight. And then the top hand will have the handle of the handy bands. Bend the elbow so that your underarm becomes your bicep pillow. So from here, I want you to have your knee bent, elbow bent, they're touching. From here, I want you to reach that top arm and top leg away from one another. It's a diagonal line from hand to foot. Then come back in, tap, that's your exhale. Inhale, find your length and your reach. Exhale, tap, no resistance there. Go find that resistance and that reach. Good. Abs are in. This is your inhale right there when you find the leg. Tap and reach. So I'm looking like the diagonal on a tic-tac-toe board when my arm goes to straight and my leg goes to straight. Nice. And find that length and that reach. Tic-tac-toe right across the diagonal. And reach. And come back in. Inhale, find that length. Exhale, tap together. And very good. So from here, I want you to come up onto the elbow and then let's hold with the underarm. The other hand, it comes up onto your leg, and from here, we're going to just go ahead and press back. So it's side kick from mat, but we're adding a little resistance, but we're still trying to find that length. So I come forward and no resistance, go find it and find your stretch to the back corner. Keeping the shoulders stable away from your ears and find that nice length. Good. And then come forward and press back. So just be sure that you're not slouching into that shoulder and not being engaged in your core. So try to be proud. Yes, and we just have 1 more here. Come forward and press back. Nice. Let's go ahead here and then just stay in that position. And we'll just do little pulses up towards the ceiling. That's it. Reach long through that leg. Lifting, 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 staying stable through the shoulder. Let's just have 2 and 1. All right, those micro moves probably made you burn pretty good. Let's lie down on your back and let's go into a figure 4 stretch. So cross that left leg over, and then I'm pushing that left knee away from me, opening up that side of my hip on the left side. If you were feeling like you wanted to have more stretch, then simply just lift the right foot off of the mat, but keep pushing that knee, that left knee away from midline. Tightness is going to try to pull that leg in towards you. So really try to push that knee away from you. Very, very good. Just pushing it away, finding that openness. Let's go ahead and continue with some stretching here. Grab on to the webbing of the long loop, and then let's just pull for hamstring stretch towards us. Better to grab onto the webbing than onto the elastic portion of the handy band because the webbing is firm. It's going to give you a better stretch. The elastic will give some. So from here, bring that leg across body. So I'm bringing my left leg to the right, finding a little bit more stretch there. Very, very good. And then go ahead and bring that leg back. Awesome. So now we just got to switch it to the other side. So I'm going to sit up and spin around. Nice. So we're going to have the bottom arm bent and the bottom leg bent. Yes. And then from here, we're going to support that band, with the upper arm. We're going to bend so that the knee and the elbow are tight together. And then from here, we're going to stretch that arm and leg away from center. Tap the knee to the elbow. They're both lifted at about hip height. And then tic-tac-toe. Create that diagonal line from your hand to your foot. Find that length. Tap together. And inhale, lengthen. Good. Tap, exhale. Inhale, long and strong. Tap and reach. Feel like you're reaching to one corner of the room and to the other corner with the leg. Nice. Let's have 3 more. Good. And let's have 2 more. Excellent. And 1 more. Very good. And from here, we're going to transition. We're going to come up onto the elbow. We're going to give that handle to that hand. And then from here, we're going to do side kick. We're going to come forward, no resistance. Leg is lifted to hip height. And then I find that sense of reach for that back corner. We come forward, trying to stay stable in waistline and shoulder, and find that length. And then we're forward and press it back. Excellent. Come forward, press it back and reach. Good job. Try to stay stable in the shoulder, lifted from the waistline. No slouching. I'm doing bad right now. Maybe a little over dramatic. Try to stay up, and then in that up, find that reach. And then come forward and reach. 1 more. We're going to burn it out with our little micro pulses up towards the ceiling. So that's 1 and 2. That's it. Reach and stay stable. Work for your form, especially important as you get tired. Abs are in. 2 and 1. Nicely done. Let's go ahead then and turn over onto our back and do our figure 4 stretch. We're going to cross that leg over. Yeah, so we're just going to push that right knee away, just trying to open up the side hip that we just worked, not forcing the situation, just opening and breathing. And always remember, try to push that knee away, just because tightness will try to bring it in. If you want more stretch, then take the left foot up off of the mat. Everything comes closer to you, so it just intensifies the stretch. but always making sure that you can welcome that stretch into your body, never forcing a stretch or an exercise for that matter. Becoming more in tune with your body and listening to it. And so from here, let's go ahead and stretch hamstrings. Once again, I'm going to bring my hands up, grabbing onto the webbing, pull the leg towards me, finding the stretch in the hamstring through the back of that leg. And then let's go ahead and bring that leg cross body, feeling how that changes the stretch, maybe a little bit more lateral hamstring and IT band stretch. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and turn over onto our tummies. So we're going to turn all the way over and good. So just, I always find that this works better. You see how the elastic will be over the back of my arm, better than it being underneath. It feels a little awkward that way. So from here, we're going to have our nose hovering. Our knees are bent, yes, and we're really pressing our pubic bone to the mat with strong glute engagement. Float the arms, and of course we're floating the nose. So what I'd like you to do is press your arms to a floating Y position. So my arms are wider than shoulder distance. They're not close, they're here. And then from there, we're going to start to lengthen those legs, feel the resistance in the band, start to build. And then we try to lift up into a little cobra position. And then we bend the knees, press the pubic bone to the floor, reach forward, that's our exhale. Inhale, lengthen, try to press those toes to the floor. And as you do that, strong squeeze of your glutes, pressing the pubic bone to the mat. And then exhale, reach, and inhale, find the lift. If this bothers your back, you can just do the motion and just not lift as high, right? You see how I'm just hovering. I'm going to do a couple more where I'm not lifting. And so I'm reaching to the Y. I straighten those legs and I pull in. Nice. If you've been doing okay, so you're going to come to your high lift and then you're going to lower, find that knees bend. Then from here, we're going to add on. So we're going to keep those toes down. Reach the letter T, come back to elbows into waistline and reach forward. So we lengthen, elbows into your side. Then reach those arms to the letter T position, back into your waistline and reach. So you can do this exercise, once again, without lifting. So here I go to the T. I come back in and I reach. I'm going to do it again like that. Elbows into my side. Find my T. Elbows in and reach. And just pick the right exercise for you. Press the T, come back in, and bend. One more time. And reach. And in. Nice. So from here, just go ahead and come up onto those knees and start we're going to come into a child's pose, but let's put those handy bands out to the side and just allow yourself to be soft and small like a little child. Yes, inhale, feel the air go into the ribs, in your low back. Exhale, let the air out. Always a good idea to flex your spine after a lot of extension. That was a fair amount of spinal extension. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Very, very good. Nice. So from here, let's go ahead and gather up the handles. We're going to come up onto our knees. So once again, I really like holding onto the side webbing. It's totally okay to have the handles right next to one another, but for whatever reasons, I often will stack my handles and I'll hold onto the webbing. And then from here, my abs are in, I'm squeezing my bottom, so I'm not arched. I'm trying to squeeze my bottom to get a better position. And then from here, I just push those arms to straight. Hopefully I'm staying inside the screen. And then go up towards the ceiling and back down. Inhale, find the length, shoulders down away from your ears. Exhale, bend. Inhale, find the length. And as I lengthen my elbows to straight, I also try to zip my low abs from pubic bone to navel. So let's push those arms to straight. Pause, pull those low abs in. We're working without momentum. Putting in that pause is going to make us work a little harder. And push those arms to straight. Feel it in your triceps. Zip up those low abs. And then let's have 4 more. Good. And let's have 3. And let's have 2. And 1. Very good. Excellent. So from there, we're going to go ahead and work on our glute max, okay? So here's the buckle of the handle. I'm going to put my hand just south of it on the elastic band. We do that on both sides. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and just reach it forward and plant my palm into the mat. So my palm is on the elastic band, not on the buckle. And then from here, I'm going to center the left leg underneath my pelvis, reach the right leg to straight. So I'd like you to also shift more weight into your left knee. See the alignment? Hands are in front of my shoulders. So it takes the work out of my wrists and my shoulders. From here, hip extension. Lift the leg, pause, reach long through that leg. Nice. Keep the weight into your support knee and then reach long. And that's 2. Abs are in, lift and keep the pelvis squared to the mat is 3. Now as we lift, really reach through that stirrup, and that's 4. Watch that you keep your pelvis level, no rocking, and very good. Shoulders are down away from your ears. Feel the weight in your support leg. Our worker leg is very straight at the knee. And let's have 3 more. Good. And let's have 2 more. Keep the weight back. Work your form. And here we're going to transition to our next exercise. Knees nice and straight. Small circles. Keep the weight back in your support knee. Reach that leg long. Work your form. Lengthen through the stirrup of the handy band. Keep it going for another 3 and 2 and 1. Very good. Put that knee down and take those handy bands out to the side. Find yourself back down into your child's pose. Nice. Take a couple of breaths here, just resting. And then let's go off center. So let's walk both hands off your mat to the left. And then from here, start to pour the weight of your hip, your right hip, towards the outer edge of the mat, reaching longer through the right arm, creating more stretch through side body. Inhale the breath into the side body. Exhale, push a little further away. Inhale. Maybe reach a little further with that right arm. Pour the weight of your right hip onto the outer edge of your right mat. Nice. And then let's go ahead and walk all the way over to the other side. Reaching long through the left arm. Pressing the weight of the hip, the left hip, towards the outer edge of the mat. Find that nice stretch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Enjoying that stretch. Getting ready for our other side. So walk to center. Yes, and then once again, grab onto the elastic portion of the handy bands just south of the buckle. Go ahead and reach those arms forward and now center the right knee underneath the pelvis. Reach the left leg to straight, shifting back. Abs are in. From here, lift the leg, reach long from the hip to the straight knee and out through the toes. So feel the stirrup of the handy bands and reach out through it. As you do that, keep the abs in, pelvis square to the floor. Notice how more of the weight is in the right knee, our support knee, trying to take some of the weight bearing out of the wrists in this position, and lift and pause and come back down. As you lift, keep your abs in, shoulders away from your ears, and let's have 4 more. And we're lifting and lengthening, and then back down. Let's have 2 more. Lift and lengthen, and back down. And then on this one, we're going to stay lifted. Reach through that leg. Keep that knee straight. Circle time. Small circles. That's it. Reach long. Keep that weight in your support knee. Yes, and keep going here for another 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Very good. Put that knee down. Reach those handy bands out to the side. Find yourself in your child's pose. Breathing and expanding the rib cage with your inhalation, and exhale, get small. Yes, walk both hands off your mat and then pour the weight from your left hip onto the left outer reaches of the mat. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Let's go ahead and walk the hands off to the other side of the mat, really reaching further with the uppermost hand. In my case, it's my right. That means I'll be pouring the weight of my right hip onto the mat. Nice, finding that beautiful stretch. Breathing and feeling how your breath can increase the stretch. So I'm inhaling into the right side body, and then exhaling, reach a little further into that stretch. Very, very good. Come back to our child's pose. Maybe now reach back to the arches of your feet. Forehead could be directly down, or maybe you feel like you want to have your head turned to one direction. Listening to your body and understanding what it needs. If you have your head turned, for sure need to turn it to the other side. Very good. And now let's go ahead and center our head and place your hands at your shoulders and then push up. And now more a traditional alignment of shoulders right over hands. From here, let's go to Angry Cat. Focusing on scooping from our low tummy, posterior, tilting the pelvis, letting the head hang, maybe a little light shake of the head out, making sure that's hanging loosely. And then from here, start to reach to the sits bones, let the belly hang, let the rib cage hang, slide the shoulders away from your ears. Gaze is forward. So is the shining of your heart. And then from here, scoop and start to come through and up. Let your head hang, perhaps. Shift it a little bit from side to side, just allowing it to be more relaxed. And then from here, reach those sits bones, lengthening belly button towards the floor, shoulders away from your ears. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that workout. So we are doing Zoom workouts through Center Strength Pilates Studio, which is where I work. It's on Mondays at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and we've just changed to daylight savings time. So hope to see you there.